Have you ever wondered why some people can drink responsibly and normally, yet every time you have one, you have to have 20? Well, in my extensive periods of time studying the mind, I've found that no matter what the actual reason is behind your inability to moderate, it's very important to understand a big subject they did not teach us in school about us, our mind. And the moment you understand these principles, these natural laws, you take the power back in your hands and you're quite capable of taking your power back from booze. What's up, my free and powerful friend? I am Magnify Maggie, and I'm the creator of the Magnify Method, which is a new alternative recovery approach empowering you to think different in order to drink different or never again. Make sure you subscribe because I'm bringing you all types of this education, motivation, and inspiration to actually find success in cutting back or quitting alcohol entirely. Did you know that there are actual laws that govern our universe and nature in general? And they don't teach this stuff in school. I promise you, I looked everywhere. And when I found this, my life completely changed. Now, these ideas might sound really simple, but the more you listen, come back to this video time and time again, pick up the gems that you missed the first and second time around. The more you listen, the more you're gonna see your life change because it changes your perception of you, your perception of your future, and your perception of how difficult or easy it's going to get new results. So let's dive right in. We're gonna talk about the universal laws, natural laws. You might have even heard of this term, divine laws. Bob Proctor calls these the modus operandi of God. But trust me, no matter what camp you're in, science versus religion, both aspects speak the same truths about these 7 natural laws. Remember, nobody is responsible for writing out these laws. They've just been observed for almost 7,000 years. The first primary law, if you talk to scientists or theologians, it's exactly the same. Theologians say, God is. Scientists say, energy is. Energy/God, whatever fits best for you, makes you feel good. Energy and God are evenly present 100% around us, the cause and effect of each other, neither created nor destroyed. So when we start to dissect everything about life, understand that whatever camp you belong to, it's simply energy acting by law or God, spirit acting by law. Now let's go ahead and dive into the 7 natural laws that you can take with you, put in your pocket, and think about every day and every moment that you're feeling triggered to drink, or like you can't possibly get successful results, or maybe you're haunted by troubled past. All of these laws are gonna help you think different in order to drink different. Trust me. Okay, let's start off with one of the most exciting natural laws, in my opinion, which sounds a little bit complicated, but is much easier once we break it down. It is called the perpetual transmutation of energy. Well, going back to the primary law, we understand that energy is, everything is energy. So when you look at the first law under that, perpetual transmutation of energy, this law decrees that energy is always flowing to and through you and then back out into form. You can think of this law rather something more simple like law of circulation. Think about a performer and their audience. The audience members are feeding the performer energy. They're taking in that energy and it affects their performance in some way or another. If the audience is low energy, the performer is likely very low energy as well. They're going to be giving out lower energy levels. So you can see energy in our universe always moving. And as a human being, that's one of your superpowers, that you take in the energy of other people. But remember that you have to guard your energy. You have to guard that and make sure that as you take it in, if it's not going to serve you, you kick it right out, or you shape it in a way that will give you those desired results. Recall that video about attitude and we go back to our stick figure presentation. It's a great representation of even manifesting things in your life. If you really enjoy studying manifesting, think about this. Energy comes through you, it goes into your body has to move into action, and it flows out of you through your results. Your results are either positive or negative, and you choose the starting point. Something else that's really fascinating and exciting about this law is that if you hold on to an image long enough in your conscious and your subconscious mind, and you emotionalize it, you let yourself daydream and you visualize and you plan, what would it be like when I'm there? You put yourself on that frequency, which allows your body to feel the way it needs to feel to go get those results. And then those results are directly proportionate to the energy that you are focusing on. So, just about 2 years ago, I was daydreaming of this moment. And it took some time, and we'll talk about the law that decrees that. It took some time, and I had to be patient, and I had to move in alignment with my goals, but eventually that picture in my mind moved out into form. Positive energy breeds positive results. Next up, let's talk about the law of rhythm. So not so much about dancing, but understanding yourself as a human being. I mentioned again in that attitude video that we as humans, we actually exist on 3 planes. We are spirits. Think of your soul, your personality, even your mind. We are spirits gifted with intellect. Here's the thing, your intellect is different than just your mind. Your intellect is housed in your conscious mind, but it allows you to think and be educated and gather knowledge. And then we're living in a physical body. So basically understanding that humans exist on these 3 planes, these 3 planes run on biorhythms. So you're not always gonna feel amazing. You're not always gonna be at the height of your rhythm, physically, spiritually, and intellectually. Sometimes you're gonna be at a physical high, but your intellectual and your spiritual aspects are gonna be very low. There's even times when all 3 of these are gonna be at a low. This is so true, in fact, that there's certain airline companies that will ground their pilots if they are in a physical low, a spiritual low, an intellectual low. All 3 of those together at a low point is called a critical low point. They'll ground the pilots on critical lows, but then they'll fly them high when they're on their critical high points. So this law gave me the permission to let myself relax and give myself grace if I was having, especially a spiritually low day, I was lacking positivity or optimism. I couldn't possibly think of a way that I would find happiness or success or alleviate my stress. I would just give myself a break to recharge. Because in the very past, like way back when, anytime I felt that way, I would turn to alcohol. And what happens when I'm at a low point and then I turn to alcohol? Man, depths that you cannot imagine, despair that you cannot imagine. Actually, you might be able to. That might be where you are right now. But what I say is to understand that you can track these metrics and understand when you're at a physical low or an intellectual low or a spiritual low. And when you are, you know, hey, this is just a human experience and I don't have to fret. I don't have to stress. Give myself grace to recharge and I'll bounce back even brighter and even bigger. Okay, the next law of the universe has really helped me in overcoming past trauma. This is the law of polarity. The law of polarity goes back to the, of course, primary law that energy just is. Energy is not negative or positive, but it is both negative and positive. So if you're experiencing something, or if you have experienced something that was just completely unfair, something that you wrapped your head around and you could just not turn it into a positive, understand that there is some positive aspect. There could not be a positive aspect without a negative aspect. There could not be a negative aspect without a positive. Just like there's not an in without an out, a hot without a cold, a big without a small. So in any experience that you feel is unfair, painful, stressful, understand that there is a polar opposite in that same experience, which means that if something feels really bad right now, get excited because it's gonna feel really good when you find that positive. For me, I've looked back on some very traumatic experiences in my life that I had to actively search for the positive from my brother's suicide, the positive from my mother's alcoholism, the positive from my father's passing. All of these things I spent years and years ruminating over the negative, completely blind to the positive. And once I found that positive, I was able to harvest it for myself and actually look back at that experience and say, I'm actually accepting that now. Maybe not happy it happened, but I wouldn't change it because I got this benefit from the drawback. Okay, this next law kind of partners and plays this fun yin and yang with the law of polarity, and that is the law of relativity. I think I use this one the most. It's so applicable in every type of aspect where you're going through the human experience of comparison. You're able to actually relate your circumstances to something to make it feel like the outcome or the process is going to be easy. So the law of relativity is in line with polarity, that everything just is. Everything that is big is only big because you're comparing it to something small. Anything that is hot is only hot because you're comparing it to something cold. If you want to make a lot of money, let's say you want to make $1 million next year. That seems like a lot because right now you're relating it to your current salary. Maybe it's 50,000, 100,000, 500,000. $1 million seems way too high. The moment you start hanging out with people that are making 5 million though, wow, 1 million doesn't seem so hard. I really noticed this in line with my drinking. When I was drinking every single day, I didn't realize how bad I felt physically. I kind of just assumed everybody was walking around feeling this tired, feeling this stressed out, feeling this headache and lack of direction. But then I gave myself an extended period of time away from alcohol, developing myself, and I started to say, wow, I didn't realize I could feel this good from some quality sleep and water and nutrition. But I was finally relating my current condition to when I was feeling sick and tired all the time from alcohol. So what I say is that if you are currently locked into your addiction or your addictive behavior, not taking very long off of your drinking habits, then it's very likely that you don't understand how good it's going to get because you're so immersed in only relating things to how bad it is right now. So get excited again. If something's bad right now, let's start relating it so that we can get better results. Next up, the law of gender. The law of gender is one of my favorites. It reminds me of patience and nurturing my goal every time I think about it. The law of gender decrees that first and foremost, everything has a male and female. Not gonna argue that right now, not the space. But the caveat is that every seed in this earth, in this world, has a gestation period. That could be a seed for a plant, or a seed for a human, a seed for an animal. We don't have the moment of conception followed directly by birth. You plant a seed, let's say you plant a seed in your garden, it's not blooming within an hour, it's not blooming simultaneously. What does a seed need in order to grow? Well, it needs water and sunshine and good soil and the appropriate environment, the appropriate circumstances for it to be nourished to then go ahead and manifest. So the law of gender stating that go ahead and give every seed this gestational or incubational period means that your goals, AKA spiritual seeds, need time. They need you to be moving in alignment with your goals. Hands up if you've ever given up on a goal if you don't see it come to fruition within a day or a week, right? We all do this. Think about New Year's resolutions. We don't see the change within 2 or 3 weeks, so we give up. By February, that's long gone. But if you apply the law of gender, that everything has an incubation period or a gestation period, every goal takes time. If you apply that and remember the law of circulation, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, understand that that goal has to move into form by law. If you continue to work in alignment with that goal. You're watering your seed. So in this case, we're trying to cut back drinking, so we stop going to the bar. You know what would be kind of like going out and digging up your seed and ruining the growth? It would be like going to the bar every night and just trying to force yourself not to drink. Oh, that's not really gonna help you not think about alcohol. Or continuing to tell yourself, I can't do this. Have an attitude of defeat. That's gonna be like you going out and digging up your seed. So what do you need to do in order to nurture the seed so that it does move into form? Well, talk positively, think positively, have an attitude that you are powerful. Have the attitude of success, that successful expectancy. And do the things in your day that bring you excitement and joy. Practice new things, new hobbies, go for adventures, explore. Those are all gonna be those ways that you are nurturing your spiritual seed for your sobriety goal. All right, Ralph Waldo Emerson called the next law the law of laws. It is the law of cause and effect, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, we've heard of this before, even in physics class, taking it back to high school. What does this mean when it comes to our thoughts and our attitude and our results, though? Understand that your thoughts are the cause, your effect are your feelings. Your feelings become the cause of your behavior. Your behavior is then the effect. Then your behavior becomes the cause. The effect is your results. Everything that is an effect is in direct proportion to the cause. So when you understand the patterns that lead into attitude, remember thought, feeling, behavior, and results, those are all a train of causation, and you hold the power. Remember that the cause of your thoughts really just is. It's not negative or positive. You form that. If you are feeling negatively, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling triggered or angry, that is the effect. The cause, I know this is going to sound like a punch in the gut, the cause is you choosing the thoughts that are aligned with that emotion. You chose that vibration. You chose to get emotionally involved with the negativity that somebody said to you or the stress that you feel that your boss put on you. You chose those thoughts, but that also gives you the key of power that you could choose differently. You could choose to think differently. That is the power of being a human being, and you're one. You're one of those things walking around on this earth. So if you've been kind of brainwashed into thinking that you're powerless, that you're destined for failure, that you're too damaged to go on and find any success, I want to shake you and wake you up and say, you can change that right now through the law of cause and effect by choosing to think differently. You're gonna feel a completely different vibration in your body. You're gonna feel butterflies. You're gonna feel a burst of energy. When you start to choose different thoughts, it's gonna manifest very quickly for you in your feeling of your body, but then in your results and what you see and hear in your external reality. I saved my very favorite for last, and it's actually one that a lot of people have somewhat of an idea about. This is the law of vibration. I want to bring it back to about 2006. There was a movie, very popular movie that was released that now has a huge cult following. It was called The Secret. And The Secret taught us about the law of attraction. And there's even coaches with entire 12-week programs built out on just the law of attraction, or people writing books about just the law of attraction. But here's the fun thing. The law of attraction is actually a subsidiary law under the law of vibration. And if you don't understand the law of vibration, you're not going to be able to truly attract into your life what you want. It kind of misses the target and teaches us that, oh, if you just think positively, that you're going to attract what you want in your life. But there's a difference between thinking positively and expecting positive results. It's almost like, oh, think positive, but I'm believing that I'm going to get the negative. I wish for this positive, but I actually believe I'm incapable. Wishing, but then believing are two different things. So understanding that the law of vibration, when we take it to that next in-depth level, you can actually put yourself into a vibration that puts you on the frequency of the things you desire. This is written about in physics. This is written about in all types of different science. So I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but if you're curious, you continue to look it up. Understand that our body is a mass of energy, a mass of molecules. It's always vibrating. And those ideas that we take into our conscious mind and deposit into our subconscious mind, then set up a vibration in every cell of your body. Again, conscious awareness of vibration is called feeling. I feel sick, I feel tired, I feel energized, I feel good. Those are all things that represent what we're thinking. So if you're feeling bad, you're thinking bad. If you're feeling good, you're thinking good. And if you're thinking in a positive manner, you're going to be on the frequency necessary to attract the things that you need into your life to get to your goals. Here's the fun part is that you're gonna wanna set big goals, especially in sobriety, in your sobriety journey. I know that goes against AA, but you're gonna wanna set big goals and you're gonna wanna focus on them and daydream and think about what is it gonna take for me to get there. And a lot of times you're not gonna know in your mind, and that might cause you fear. But let that fear dissipate and take on this feeling of faith that, you know what, I will get there. This belief that that's going to happen. You don't have to know all of the steps between now and then. But if you set yourself up in that vibration and that expectancy that it's going to happen, then you're going to magically find all of these occurrences, all of these instances, all of these connections, the dots that connect you from where you are now to where you want to be. And it all starts right here. So think more about what your life looks like when alcohol is not an issue anymore. When alcohol is irrelevant. You probably haven't been thinking about that too much because all you've been thinking about is alcohol. Well, think about the vibration that you put yourself in, thinking about the shame and the guilt that alcohol has brought you. Cast it aside and start thinking about what life really looks like so that you are feeling good, behaving well, and attracting into your life the people and the things that you need to get there. In learning these fundamentals, I have completely transformed my life. I went from an almost 16-year alcoholic, addictive binge drinker to somebody that can literally take it or leave it and is turned off by alcohol, but so turned on by my goals and my ambitions and my trajectory. It changed my life. I know it can for you. Remember to watch this time and time again, maybe every morning, so that you can get on the right vibration to attract all of those things that you need into your life for your successful sobriety or cutback journey. And until next time, just remember, use these principles to think different, because then you're gonna start to drink different, and quite possibly, you'll never be drinking ever again.